So tonight's lesson is on chapter 8.5. This is part 2. Last night we did plus plus and minus plus. Tonight we're going to do plus minus and minus minus. So what I mean by plus minus is that the signs in the trinomial are plus minus. And when that's the case, and you factor it, you're going to do two sets of parentheses, of course, and your signs are going to be plus minus. And really, if the last term is negative or minus, they're going to be different signs. For this one, since the middle term is plus, the bigger term is going to be the plus term. So, since the first term is q squared, you're going to put q in the front of the parentheses. Then you're going to ask yourself, what number multiplies to give you 54 but adds to give you 3? So if we do our little table, multiply and add, we can multiply some numbers and get 54, like 9 and 6. But remember, one has to be positive and one has to be negative. So since the middle number is positive, the bigger number is going to be positive, which means it would be 9 and negative 6. And if you add 9 and negative 6, you get 3. 9 minus 6 is 3. So this is going to be your factored form. And if you FOIL it back out, you would get q squared minus 6q plus 9q minus 54. Add the two middle terms and you get q squared plus 3q minus 54, which happens to be what you started with, so you know that your factors are correct. Alright, let's do a minus minus. In this case, you're still going to have the same thing. Minus minus and plus minus are going to be the same signs when you factor. The only difference is the middle term determines where the bigger number goes. So since the middle term is negative, the bigger term is going to be negative. You put a z in the front of both because z times z is z squared. Now what numbers multiply to give you 48 and add to give you negative 2? So some numbers that multiply to give you 48 are 12 and 4. Bigger number has to be negative, but that adds to give you negative 8, not negative 2. So keep going. Multiplies to give you 8. 24 and 2, that's definitely not going to be it. That'd be negative 24 and 2, which would be negative 22. So that's not it, and that's not it. How about negative 8 and positive 6? Add those and you get negative 2, which is what you want. And if you multiply them, you get negative 48. So that's going to be negative 8 and positive 6. Be careful where you put your numbers. You could figure it out over here, but then when you put it in over here, you put it in wrong, and that's going to give you a wrong answer. You can FOIL it back out, and you get z squared minus 8z plus 6z minus 48. Add the two middle and you get z squared minus 2z plus 40 or minus 48. Let me just mark through that. My eraser won't work. Z squared minus 2z minus 48. So since that's the same as that, you know this is the right answer. Okay. Let's do another plus minus. So you're going to do two sets of parentheses. Of course, if the last number is minus, they're going to be different. What multiplies to give you 27 but adds to give you 6? One has to be negative, and it's going to be the smaller number, because you know the middle number determines what the bigger number is going to be. Multiplies to give you 27 is probably going to be 9 and 3. Bigger number's positive, so it's going to be 9 and negative 3. So positive 9, negative 3. You can go ahead and FOIL it back out and check it. So you're going to get r squared minus 3r plus 9r minus 27, which is going to be r squared plus 6r minus 27. Okay, so you know you got the right answer. Another plus minus. It's going to be x plus x minus. And this is probably going to be, how are you going to multiply to get 6? You're either going to do 2 and 3 or you're going to do 6 and 1. One of them has to be negative. One of them has to be negative. Since the middle number is positive, the bigger number is positive. So this is going to be negative 2 and negative 1. Add those and that gives you 1. Add those and that gives you 5. So it must be 6 and negative 1. And I'm not going to check that one. You could FOIL it back out and check it, but I know that it's right, so I'm just going to leave it. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit harder problem when I have two variables in it. Like I have the x squared here and the y squared down here on the end. You're going to do it the same way, but you're going to make sure that when you do your factors, you put an x in the front and a y in the back. Okay, since it's plus minus, you know that that's going to be plus minus. Now, you're going to still do what multiplies to give you 55, but adds to give you 6. 55, 11 and 5 stand out to me. They multiply to give me 55, I know. And since the middle number's positive, the bigger number's positive, so that's going to be negative 5. And what's 11 plus negative 5? It's 6. So that's going to be my numbers. I'm going to do plus 11y minus 5y. And then I want you to FOIL it back out. So it's going to be x squared minus 5xy plus 11xy minus 55y squared. So in the middle you get x squared plus 6xy minus 55y squared. And that's looking like my question, so that's the right answer. This is the part where you check your work. Okay? Alright, pause the video, do these 3 guided questions. If you have any questions or comments, you can contact me in any of these ways you see here.